Next one is my personal pick, the character that I want in more than anyone else on my list. And this character is Isaac of the Golden Sun series.
Since Inklings are already announced, other than that, my most wanted character would be Isaac from Golden Sun.
Yes, you picked one of my characters.
Like, he could be like really easy to make a move set, and like, Golden Sun's kind of a cult classic too. So
yeah.
Is Isaac going to be a assist trophy, or are they going to make him a character?
I'd rate Isaac's chance at a 40%. I still think other characters will get priority, and I'm expecting to see Isaac at least return as an assist trophy, if not a character. As for want, Isaac is my 100% want pick. He's the only character I truly want in this game.
the sweet, salty tears. Oh,
Yes!
never mind.
Finally! Chance score to a 60%. I think that Isaac had the most to benefit from this direct in terms of potential playability. His assist trophy was not returned or shown off. On top of that, Ashley gets deconfirmed, Shovel Knight gets deconfirmed, King K. Rool, Dark Samus, Chrom, Simon, Ridley, all of them have been confirmed. Most of his major hurdles are kind of out of the way in terms of potential newcomers. I think Geno is probably more likely than him at this point, but I think that if Sakurai is really throwing away relevancy and is looking back through his library at characters that have had so much requests ever since their first ever requests like Isaac and Brawl, I really do think Isaac is up there. I really, really, really do.
That's not all though, as Sakurai decided to draw attention to this one particular image showcasing the brand new Rathnos Assist Trophy. Eagle-eyed fans on Reddit immediately noticed this appears to be mirroring Golden Sun's battle layout. Even the character poses are strikingly similar. And yes, Isaac is yet to appear as an assist trophy.
Hello everybody, it's the Space King 12 here, and welcome to the Golden Sun chat.
If you remember back in the Smash 4 days, Nintendo had trademarked the name King K. Rool right before they released the DLC of King K. Rool's Mii costume. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, just this past week, Nintendo has trademarked Mario Super Sluggers, Golden Sun, Rhythm Heaven, and Wrecking Crew. Could this mean that Isaac from Golden Sun is going to be revealed as a new playable fighter?
60% to 65%. I'm not comfortable giving him a 70% or above because I'm still admittedly not that confident in his chances. I think out of first-party Nintendo IPs that have not been represented, he is 100% the one that I think has the most chance to
Thanks for
get
watching,
in.
everyone. Take care, and I'll see you all next time. And can I see Isaac in Smash? Hey, wait.
So we've got another question from the Space King, who says, speaking of Smash, playable Isaac from Golden Sun, yay or nay? I want Isaac playable. I don't know if he will be, though.
Give me a reason why it's real. When it's confirmed fake, come back to the chat and say sorry. But you won't, because you're a coward. Come back.
End of a Reddit thread that has suggested another possibility, that this item is in fact from Golden Sun due to how similar the item's sprout graphic looks to the icon for the growth synergy from the beloved Game Boy Advance RPG. Of course, the question must be asked, if that mystery item really is from Golden Sun, does that point to a possible Isaac reveal in the future?
Yeah, I will say I don't expect Isaac as a newcomer in this. Maybe he'll appear in some other form. I'm not feeling the newcomer angle, though.
No!
Oh no!
Fuck. Yes. Kill me.
No!
I know what I did the moment that I picked up my sword. It's been a bad few weeks for Golden Sun fans. It wouldn't be a stretch to say that it's been a bad few months either. Or you could be like me and say what I feel personally needs said, and that is that it has been a bad few years for Golden Sun fans. The Golden Eulogy was a means of expressing my journey with Smash this time, and my journey with Isaac, showing the various clips I've watched and rewatched on this path. For instance, the clip from 3 years ago was to indicate that I've been on this boat for a very, very long time. To show that I'm not bandwagoning as I've been accused of. The K. Rool clip was to indicate that I'm not without great respect and adoration for what has already come. This shows that I'm not ungrateful, as many have also already accused me of as well. But on to the point. On the 1st of November, Golden Sun fans endured one of the single most devastating and humiliating defeats in the total history of Super Smash Bros. Speculation, rivaling the likes of Ridley's support in Smash 4 ending up in flames, or the K. Rool for DLC movement, which only got us a stupid green crocodile costume. Many have run away, many have shut up, taking it all at face value, others have dived headfirst into hoping against hope that this game's DLC will amount to something worth a damn. With so many that want him, the question becomes not whether or not we should give up, but instead what went wrong and where. What occurred in the history of the Isaac for Smash movement that prevented us from making the mighty leap necessary that all will argue among our circles is earned. I've seen several theories proposed, but I've only seen one that makes sense. I'll go down all the wrong answers first, arriving at the truth at the very end, and then moving into what we can do to change this in the future. Isaac is too obscure, and or Golden Sun is irrelevant. Well, the same could be said of King K. Rool, however, this is the world that we live in now. The ballot brought back King K. Rool, showing that it was in fact used as a point of reference for future content over the course of Smash. Isaac had everything going for him that King K. Rool did. A very large dedicated audience, a swarm of voters, and a lot of moveset potential. This simply isn't it. Our support base is far smaller than we had imagined. If this were the case, I would feel confident in stating that we would not have even seen an assist trophy, as if there truly are only a few hundred Golden Sun fans left, they wouldn't bother in any capacity at all. We have a voice and they know we exist. The ballot could revive dead characters, but not dead franchises. This is the best guess that anyone has offered that isn't what I think is the truth. I believe that this isn't the truth on account of Lip not being an assist trophy, but instead a Mii costume, which is arguably a higher honor, which is no doubt due to her own community's efforts. But it very well could be the case. The truth is far more layered than that in my mind, however. So then, what is the truth? I alluded to the truth at the beginning of this, when I mentioned that it had been a bad several years. The truth is that the reason we failed to get Golden Sun content on a meaningful level of value in Smash is that we as a community have not stood firm in the way that we pretend that we do. Golden Sun is an intellectual property that many people want to see return, and very dearly love, but it is not a property that many people talk about consistently. The Golden Sun fandom is very adamant about this representation they seek in Smash, but they have failed. Yes, it is true. They have failed to realize the end goal that came from the pursuit of this ambition, what was originally the initial prize. What is the number one reason that anyone supports Isaac for Smash Bros? It is naturally to lead to the production thereof more official Golden Sun content, as a new Golden Sun game would very likely come from the sparks generated by an Isaac for Smash reveal, and the hype that would naturally incur. But we've become so fixated on Isaac for Smash that I would argue that most of the Golden Sun fanbase cares more about the trophy that is Isaac in Smash rather than the fruits of that eventual victory. I can support this idea of how the Golden Sun community routinely wakes up and goes back to sleep at the end of each Smash cycle. In the era of Brawl, we pushed for Isaac. That failed to amount to a new character, but that support continued, leading to Dark Dawn. But following the release of Dark Dawn, Golden Sun content has become so scarce and talk of the IP so withered that I find it difficult to truly call this anything remotely resembling a conventional fandom. We once again began to talk during Smash 4 and later during DLC, but when neither amounted to what we were looking for, we once again fell silent. We don't talk about new Golden Sun games. We fantasize about Isaac and Smash, and while that is a worthy goal to strive towards, in the pursuit of that goal, we have completely and utterly failed to address the importance of new Golden Sun titles. We think that for a new Golden Sun to happen, we need to win a trophy. I hate to say it, but Isaac and Smash will not magically fix the scars laid upon a battered series. Scars that we are ignoring. I wish I had photos to prove this. On a day-by-day basis on my Twitter account, I have to face down trolls who don't understand a thing about Golden Sun. We are known among the Nintendo community not for our love and adoration for the Golden Sun games, but as an obsessive bunch dangerously dedicated to the idea of a blonde boy from a Japanese RPG appearing in Smash. We have become so dedicated to the idea of Isaac, we have allowed our peers within the Nintendo community to drag down the good name of Golden Sun through the mud. We have essentially embraced its obscurity in favor of the almighty ballot. The time that we could have spent getting people to play the games and spreading the golden grace of the Golden Sun series far and wide was spent in the relentless pursuit of a trophy. Rather than carrying on with jokes and banter one might find within a typical fandom, or producing beautiful fan art leading upon the series' own value, or simply talking within a public space, we have spent years dreading Isaac being disconfirmed, fantasized about him being in the game, and hid behind the barriers of obscure locations. We almost seem to care more about Golden Sun representation in Smash Bros. Than we do about Golden Sun content. More than we ever did. I know this to be true because I was in the exact same boat. I spent the last 8 months of my life caring leaps and bounds more about Isaac and Smash more than I ever did about the prospect of a new title during that entire time. I hate that about myself. I hate when I see that in the members of this community. I hate that this is the accepted truth among those unassociated with us. This is the truth as to why we have failed. We are not the Golden Sun community. Like it or not, we are the Isaac for Smash Bros. Community. And that came from years and years of begging for Smash content rather than placing Golden Sun first. I would like to think that during the Brawl era, we were once one and the same, as the demand for Isaac and Brawl is probably a big part of what eventually led to Golden Sun Dark Dawn, but no such luck was found in Smash 4. And the way things seem to be going this time, I'm not certain that Unity will be laid out once more. I once heard the argument that if we need Smash Bros. To survive, we don't deserve to be in Smash in the first place. When I heard that argument, I had reviled in disgust. Today, I find truth in those words. Until we can force the Golden Sun IP to be relevant again, be it due to word of mouth in reference to older titles, or the demand for a new game, we will never achieve this goal, which ultimately should be secondary. Even if Isaac is the most requested character in the world, I do not see him being implemented if no dedicated Golden Sun community exists in any meaningful capacity. And why would there be? All hail Isaac, representative of no one. At least that's the narrative many would push if we did get in. We get our grand trophy, but at such cost. So then, what are we to do? We need to drop this Isaac for Smash thing down in our overall list of priorities. That may be truly difficult to hear, given how much time and effort many of us have sacrificed in the pursuit of this goal. But we will remain a joke to the larger Nintendo community if we are unable to band together behind the cause of a new Golden Sun game. It's fair to say that this is a difficult ambition to achieve, and Isaac and Smash may very well be comparatively easier. But Isaac is not the key to new Golden Sun content. He was always the end reward for something greater, as is supported by the game design philosophy of Masahiro Sakurai. The golden eulogy that prefaced this video is my goodbye to Isaac and Smash as my primary goal as a Golden Sun fan. It's something that I really and truly want from the bottom of my heart, but it's not something that I will actively strive for any longer. From now on, I will push forward for Golden Sun 4 with reckless abandon. And if the time comes when we are big once more, then the momentum created will naturally carry itself into more formal Golden Sun content representation within the Smash series. This could take the form of Isaac naturally, and or the protagonist of the next Golden Sun as DLC for Ultimate, or a newcomer in the next Smash game altogether. I've seen many people prance about stating that this was Isaac's last chance. To that I must say with harshness, it was only his last chance if we as a community once again fail to incentivize the production of more official Golden Sun content. Smash is not Golden Sun, and Isaac's appearance is not the be-all end-all. We got nothing because we did nothing following our defeat in Smash 4. If we had maintained the momentum found as a community in the fires of Smash 4, and turned that into desire for Golden Sun 4, it would have already happened years ago. How do we do this then? Make jokes, talk about the games, what we loved, what we hated. Make video essays analyzing the games. Recommend the games to your peers who may also enjoy RPGs but have never played Golden Sun. Produce theories for what the future may look like. Parodies that poke fun at the holes in the games. Speedruns that showcase massive skill. Make more fake leaks containing Golden Sun. Continue to make more and more beautiful fan art, but take the emphasis off of Smash. Develop personalities within the community like Billy Bo 10K. All the things that a fandom would and should do in order to perpetuate the idea of the series having life. Even years after its prime, if we can do that, we will earn the respect of our peers within the Nintendo community, such as those who populate GameFAQs, or people within the media, such as people like Andre from GameXplain, which all seem to continually deny towards us. The only really wrong thing that we can continue to do now is to keep begging for a Smash conclusion, and by extension of that, do and accomplish nothing, which is where our support currently ranges from. I have no doubt that if the momentum that we have created transitions into demand for more Golden Sun content proper, by means of once again being a community, that we will not only achieve this goal of Isaac and Smash eventually, but see Golden Sun as a series return at the very heights of contemporaries like Fire Emblem and Xenoblade, and other older inactive series like Mother and Joy. And I know that all of these statements will inevitably provoke some questions. Don't we already do all these things? Sure, but over the last 2 years I can essentially count the number on my 2 hands. RRPG's retrospective on the series, Lockston's analysis of the series Alchemy, Stoic's Super Camelot Bros fan comic, a speedrunning sub-community that has been mostly inactive on YouTube for over a year, and Billy Bo 10K's YouTube personality with his loud support for Isaac and Smash. While all this content was in fact fantastic, it is low in numbers statistically speaking. Having that little sadly isn't enough, when I know and I've seen firsthand that our numbers are at least in the thousands for total active Golden Sun fans left. And I know the immediate counter. Even if the effort is put forward, how are we sure that the series will return? How do I know this? Well, allow me to quote someone very important to the Golden Sun series. A big reason for us making RPGs comes from the requests from all the people who have enjoyed our RPGs in the past. Perhaps if there are enough Nintendo users asking for another game in the Golden Sun series, then this will naturally lead to the development of such a game. Hiroyuki Takahashi, 2012. The primary creative force behind the intellectual property runs on the demands of the community, as stated by the man in charge. This is left in no uncertain terms, no room for alternative assumption. This was in 2012. The next year, Smash 4 would hit the public, and the Isaac for Smash movement would take its modern form. Rather than pushing for Golden Sun 4, we took a pit stop in Smash. This pit stop would be our home for the next 5 years, and in that time, we've come to be known as the Isaac for Smash community, not the Golden Sun community. This is painful to say, but the only conclusion that I can draw from all of this is that this movement, which we have built up, has done far, far more harm than it has good. We lost the spark of that dedication in the pursuit of vindication. In the pursuit of a secondary objective, we lost sight of what was truly important. Isaac for Smash was once a golden standard for what we sought to achieve, but now I would argue that it's our biggest Achilles heel. So then, what's next? We need to start pushing for more new Golden Sun content here and now. The Ridley community consolidated and pushed for more official Metroid content following their massive defeat in Smash 4. The King K. Rool community simply pushed for more Rareware-like content in general following their defeat. We have endured defeat like them. They did not become reclusive. They did not stand for their games being ignored by Nintendo. They fought for respect. So when the time came, all was as it needed to be. Golden Sun content of some official variety needs to be produced for us to achieve progress, as difficult as that may be to say. When discussing the prospect of new official Golden Sun content, the thought comes to mind, what steps can and what steps should be taken in order to avoid the pitfalls that were undertaken in Golden Sun Dark Dawn. Dark Dawn is a decent game with flaws that add up over time into a weaker overall whole. Many fans blame the poor sales of Dark Dawn on the collapse of the series. However, I would argue that this is only a smaller part of the overall puzzle as to why Golden Sun content of an official variety has not been produced in the last several years. An excellent video was produced 9 months ago by the great RRPG Reviews. This video spent the vast majority of its second hour breaking down each hurdle that would come with the production of a new Golden Sun step by step. Starting with how Golden Sun has failed to maintain an active and dedicated community like its peers, Pokemon and Final Fantasy, how the IP's potential for growth is limited on account of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Pokemon having a death grip on the attention that RPGs receive, how the critical quality between titles didn't increase like Pokemon or Final Fantasy, the decay of Camelot Software's development philosophies and quantity of talented staff, in the case of Legacy. This is an all-around spectacular video that deserves thousands and thousands of more views than it has received. I want to add my own take on each of the points that he brought up, and how to address each of these, as they are paramount in the pursuit of new Golden Sun title.
It's not as gloom and doom as many I know took them.
Starting off, Golden Sun does not have a community filled with pseudo-celebrities like Pokemon, but then again, it likely never will. This was a very negative point in our RPG's video, but the way we can address this is simply by being active again. Anyone here follow the Twitter account PMD Shitposts? This account has used memes and jokes to prop up the PMD community essentially all on his own, despite the series being absent for a time going on 4 years. We see stuff like this in the Xenoblade community with Blunz, who has his This Is Blank series, homing in on funny moments and out-of-context stuff from the Xenoblade games. Despite he himself not being a celebrity within the Xeno community, comparable to the likes of the Pokemon community's Chugga Conroy, his funny videos managed to get the attention of the vast majority of the Xeno fanbase and made them laugh while doing so. We don't need to be famous to produce videos that go viral, it just happens. It would take a lot of luck to make a Golden Sun video go viral today, but it's very possible. Lucky Crit's analysis of the series' current status did this very same thing. We need our own version of PMD Shitpost. We need our own version of Blunz. Anyone who can entertain can and will build an audience. And before I end this point, I know it will inevitably be brought up. Many Golden Sun fans are vocal, within the confines of Discord, Smashboard's Isaac thread, and the dedicated Golden Sun Reddit. In other words, places our voices can't and won't be heard unless the person hearing is actively searching for said information. I have been extremely active on Smashboard's Isaac thread for the last 2 months, and in that entire time, it wasn't until near the very end of the speculation cycle that I was made aware of the existence of the Golden Sun fan Discord, and when I got to it, I was surprised that there was only about 200 members, when other large fandoms with Discords I've been in have member counts in the thousands. And during my stay within that Discord, I was made very aware of the long history of Golden Sun fan sites, all of which were very obscure forums which came and went. So obscure, in fact, that this learning experience was all I had ever heard of them before that point, despite being a fan for a long time. Forums, a dedicated Reddit, and a Discord server. This is not a fandom that's trying to be lively. This is the look of a fandom that is actively trying to stay hidden. I understand that leaving behind locations like these or inviting new individuals within may be difficult, but in order to experience growth like any series does, word of mouth has to do the legwork. Various small forums only mega fans are familiar with isn't going to cut it. Our options there are either to consolidate into a singular large form fan site akin to Serene's Forest for Fire Emblem, or to simply take our fan presence into public platforms. You can't make more Golden Sun fans out of people if you only speak about the series you love in locations that only Golden Sun fans will ever frequent. This stuff here, it was something I had to actively search out. Why not hand out the Discord publicly on places like Twitter and YouTube for all to see? We aren't going to get anywhere by sticking within this bubble. On to the next point presented. It is very true that Pokemon, Dragon Quest, and Final Fantasy account for the vast majority of the RPG fandom, and other decently sized series like Bravely Default, Xenoblade, Fire Emblem, and Persona have essentially taken what little attention is left. It's also true that RPGs don't and simply won't sell as well as they used to, but what is also true is that fans of RPGs aren't often exclusively locked down to one RPG series of choice. I have seen it occur with Pokemon, sure, but within the Final Fantasy fandom, rarely are there instances whereby someone may stick to a singular series and never venture forward into the unknown. I speak now as a fan of Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, Golden Sun, Mario & Luigi, Paper Mario, Pokemon, Bravely Default, and Final Fantasy. I may be an exception, but I would argue that so long as your RPG is good and has something that may set it apart from an ever-growing larger crowd of generic-looking and feeling RPGs, people will want to look at it. It will only naturally develop its own audience. It may be exceptionally difficult for an RPG IP to maintain an audience now, but that's already happened before, in the form of Xenoblade Chronicles, and that series had to essentially start from scratch, and now maintains what is arguably one of the most vocal RPG subcommunities today. We have the fortune of not having to start from scratch. We have 2 amazing games and 1 decent one. As for what can be done, if you have friends who have never heard or played Golden Sun, but are fans of RPGs, recommend the games to them without a second thought. Word of mouth can and naturally will reach new audiences. The next point that our RPG reviews presented was the decline of quality game over game. Broken Seal is widely agreed upon as being a masterpiece. Lost Age was an almost masterpiece. Dark Dawn was average. Rather than pushing themselves to exceed what could previously be achieved, critical quality suffered, and I see that many fear that if a Golden Sun 4 were to be produced, then it may very well even be worse than Dark Dawn. The main reason for this being the gradual decline of quality of Camelot Software's titles. It can easily be argued that Camelot doesn't have the resources nor the talent necessary to produce the Golden Sun 4 we want. But to that I say, have some faith. If Camelot truly were a developer with no future, then Nintendo would have gutted the company very long ago or cut ties with them full stop. Finding another developer to pawn the Mario Sports titles upon, and allowing Monolith Soft, Game Freak, and Intelligent Systems to exclusively handle any and all future RPG projects under Nintendo. In fact, it would not just be wise if that were the case, rather it would be the only viable option from a corporate and commercial perspective. Thankfully, this is very far removed from the truth. Camelot has produced Golden Sun, Golden Sun The Lost Age, Golden Sun Dark Dawn, Mario Tennis 64, Mario Power Tennis, Mario Tennis GBA, Mario Tennis Aces, Mario Golf 64, and Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, all of which sold in excess of 800,000 copies at bare minimum, and all achieved at least 75% or higher on Metacritic, which in general can be considered at worst decent. The truth here is that while we have seen critical blunders in recent years, such as Ultra Smash on Wii U, as proved by the company's own history, great potential for commercial gain and critical success exists. But I know the immediate thought. The vast majority of these could be considered shovelware, and you'd be right. It's completely true that most of these games are novelties, but until Nintendo slashes those ties with Camelot, which I have just thoroughly proven that they probably never will, the potential for New Golden Sun always has and always will exist. And while it can be successfully argued that the current Camelot lacks the correct philosophies and raw talent necessary to undertake a Golden Sun game, there is nothing stating that someone else can't with supervision of what little developers who worked on the original Golden Sun games are left. This is actually a point addressed in RRPG's video, that perhaps Monolith Soft would be well suited to a new Golden Sun production. However, what that video I am referring back towards couldn't address at the time is that Monolith Soft is not only suited for this, but they're among several developers actually suited for this. Intelligent Systems has made exceptional strides with the Fire Emblem IP, but echoes in the mobile game revealed to us that there are probably multiple teams within the company dedicated to the production of Fire Emblem, all of whom have massive and strong understanding of the fundamentals necessary for decent RPG game design. There's the Bravely Default team at Square. If they are searching for a developer outside of Nintendo's fleet, then I would argue that none are more suited than the developers of Bravely Default, Bravely Second, and recently, Octopath Traveler. Their expertise in the realm of RPG game design can't be understated, given that we live in a world ever more focused on active battle systems and open worlds. Turn-based experience is paramount. And back on about Monolith Soft has 3 whole studios who do separate things. You have the Tokyo branch, well known for working on Xenoblade and providing some assistance with Breath of the Wild, the Kyoto branch, which exclusively works in the field of development assistance, and the new branch, which has yet to publicly undertake a project. Could this third branch perhaps be what we need? RRPG's excellent video was, as said in this very sentence, excellent, but it painted a world without much hope. I would argue that plenty of hope exists, and the sooner we stop with this whole Smash fiasco we've spent the last several years on, the sooner Golden Sun 4 and other projects can and will become a reality. Unfortunately, we must be the ones to take that first step. But I would rather take the first step than do nothing. That's what this whole video has been thus far. It's all conjecture and supposition on my part, but who knows? It's fun to speculate, and speculate I will, because positive speculation is vastly preferable to being sad about Smash Bros. And Isaac not being playable. It's hard for me to let go of this. I've invested so much of myself into this series, into this Isaac for Smash movement. It's something I'm going to try and do, and I urge fellows within our circles to do. We can't make Nintendo make a new game by asking for Smash content. Smash content is, by very definition, not Golden Sun content. We're getting into my closing thoughts here, but I will say this. Golden Sun will only die when we give up. Thankfully, I haven't met too many that are actually fully willing to give up. And those within the Nintendo community who mock us for loving a dead series, I would say that it's in your best interest giving up attempting to make us also give up. We are among the most persistent people in all of gaming. This Isaac for Smash movement, which is taking place over the last several years, is more than strong enough proof for that much at the very least. If we can come together in the way like we did in the past, and devote our efforts into what matters most, then our goals will come to pass. Camelot Soft may be incapable of delivering the game we want, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be them. With strong supervision, anyone with some decent experience probably could. Isaac and Smash may be a lost cause right now, but it's not our endgame. It never was and never should have been considered as such. It will be difficult to build a strong public community despite years of silence and sticking within this bubble, but given that other fandoms have accomplished the same thing in less time, there's no real reason that we also can't. As mentioned earlier, other fan bases one may call dead-end or irrelevant, such as PMD recently, or in the distant past, Earthbound made the leaps I propose now. If those comments from 2012 still hold firm, then we have no reason to assume that a new game wouldn't or couldn't happen, so long as Camelot and Nintendo still work together, and if that partnership is still viable, then the possibility still exists. All the perceived hurdles can be logically discussed and counteracted with a careful plan, a plan that will only ever be put into motion when we raise some noise. I know I've suggested and talked about a lot over the course of this essay, but I just want it to be stated while I'm closing off here, I don't dislike Smash Bros. Suddenly now. I also don't dislike the idea of Isaac in Smash Bros. I just feel that we may have lost our way in the past few years. This has become a very telling tale of the sunken cost fallacy. This is the idea where the more you sink into something, the harder it becomes to back out, even if you can recognize that said initial motivation appears far-flung at best. Smash may be an example of this right now, but not Golden Sun proper. I speak about all of this because I care. From the bottom of my heart, I really and truly do care. But it is because I care that I saw fit to write out all of these ideas and then proceed to put them into words. This essay is in excess of 5,000 words before the voiceover. I was originally going to propose some ideas for Golden Sun 4 and/or remakes in another humongous chunk of writing, but as I started to write, I realized that I had more than enough to say to fill out an entire secondary video. I know this wasn't exactly a happily toned video, and as a result I do plan to do videos on the brighter side in the future to make up for that fact. But in general, I just felt that it was important to get my thoughts out there, given that if all goes according to plan, this will go live on Golden Sunday. Speaking of which, have a happy Golden Sunday. I haven't said this before now, but I mean it. It's great that we banded together to set aside this day for us. I don't know who the person was that originally proposed the idea, but to them I say thank you. I think it could be the first real step towards building what I have spoken of at length thus far. That having been said, be sure to have fun and be nice when talking to new people about this stuff. If you get hate or vitriol, be the bigger man. Turn the blind eye and keep chatting on about the series. Likewise, try not to be so harsh on Nintendo for this, or we'll earn a bad rap within the community, somewhat like Metroid did several years back. Be vocal and be firm, but be kind. It'll go a lot further, and above everything else, hold on to hope until the very end. I very nearly lost hope myself at one point during all of this. It was due to reassurance by the community that I found it again. For that much, I have to say thank you to all of you.
Do not return to the temple. That time has passed, and our future is uncertain. We will each be challenged. Our trust, our faith, our friendships. But we must persevere, and in time, a new hope will emerge.